incorrect.
He must have put a homing device on our hull. Hang on, son, we'll move into the asteroid field. And we'll have a couple of surprises for him.
Get him, Dad! Get him! Fire!
Seismic charges. Stand by. Blast! This is why I hate flying.
Seem to take a hint, this guy.
We got him!
We'll just have to finish him.
What's up, shipbuilders? I'm on a bit of a Jedi ship kick right now. Not apologizing, I'm actually quite pleased at how this turned out for a vanilla build. Let's look at the main ship systems, and if you're new here, in all of my builds I strive to use the best ship parts in the game that I can reasonably make fit the look of the ship. And by the best parts, I truly mean the best. Check out my deep dive video on ship parts and stats to really go deep, and I'll talk a bit about them with this build. For this ship, we have a very thin profile, which means large pieces like C-class reactors really don't fit the look of the ship, and that narrows down our choice significantly, but thankfully not our performance. There is actually a fantastic B-class reactor, the 104DS Mag Inertial Reactor, which provides 39 power points, only one short of the maximum of 40, and it does so at a light mass, only 71. And it does all this at the size of a 1x1 Hab, so that fits really nicely into this ship. Next, the Grav drive. The way to choose a Grav drive is to find the drive with the lowest mass that still provides at least 28 light years of jump range, and that's because the largest distance between two star systems is just under 28 light years. So this Helios 400 Grav drive accomplishes that for a ship with this mass, and my character's maxed astrodynamic skill. For a shield, we're using the Vanguard Bulwark shield. I believe this is one of the top 3 shields in the game, and it fits on our small narrow ship with only a few connector points for a shield. It's one of the best shields because it performs so well across all the specs that matter for a shield. Shield health, regen rate, and mass. It has the 3rd highest shield health at 1450 compared to the highest shield health of 1600. So you're only giving up 150 points of shield health, but you're saving 90 points of mass over that top shield health shield, the Assurance SG-1800. Plus, we have a slightly faster regen rate too. Now, the engines. Engines are always a difficult choice because they play such a critical role in the look of the ship, and we want high performance. For this ship with its low profile, it's even more challenging. But to make up for this, I really like the SA-4330s, which pound for pound are some of the best performing engines in the game over and above their own mass. They give us high Class A top speed, second only to the White Dwarf 3015s. It means this is designed as a very lightweight fighter ship, prioritizing acceleration and mobility over cargo space. But the nice thing about these engines is that in their middle variants, you can slot them into a 1x1 spot and still put pieces behind them, which you may not completely agree with from a role-playing perspective, but it does solve our need for engine thrust on such a small ship. And on this ship, with its low mass, we actually only have to use 4 of these engines, compared to the maximum you're allowed of 6. Now that's mostly out of necessity due to space restrictions, but we're still getting top engine performance due to our low overall mass. What this means is we don't need to allocate as much reactor power to our engines to get full engine performance, which leaves some reactor points to put to weapons. Speaking of weapons, I chose an overpowered particle beam loadout for this ship. I enjoy obliterating ships, so I went with the Vanguard Obliterator Autoprojectors, PBO-175 Auto Helion beams, and Exterminator 95 MeV Auto Helion beams. The Vanguard Obliterator Autoprojectors are arguably the best ship weapons in the game. That's due to their ability to benefit both from the energy weapon system skill and particle beam weapon system skill. You can place up to 6 of them on your ship. You should always place all 6 to get their maximum damage output. And you can get these very early in the game, just by completing the first quest of the Vanguard quest line. Choose whatever weapons you like the most, obviously. And like I said, to start this, if you're curious and haven't checked it out yet, check out my very detailed in-depth analysis of all the best ship parts, including weapons, which is where all these charts are coming from. I just chose some of the most overpowered particle beams for this ship, just for the fun. Now, a quick aside before we jump into the detailed build, there are some specific unique ship parts you'll need to shop for to complete this build. So just travel around to these locations, attach them to your ship in a way that will get you past the warning or error labels in the ship builder, and then go on to the next. First, you want to go to New Homestead in Titan, and there you should get 2 of the NG-20 landing gear. After that, go to the Stroud-Eklund Staryard in the Nerion system. I like to go here to get my reactor, shield, weapons, all the high-end expensive pieces. And lastly, a personal choice, I used the Himeji command bridge, which you can get at Taiyo Astroneering and Neon. You can use a lower version of this same cockpit. It will look exactly the same. It'll just miss out a bit on some cargo space, which this ship sacrifices quite a bit already, so having some of that can be nice. Okay, let's jump into the build itself. Now we're going to build this piece by piece and right beside the current ship, so we can have something to reference as we go. Start with the NG6 landing bay, and off of the back of that we're going to put our docker. So grab the, let's see, it's this 110 DP docker, flip it to the bottom. It's facing down. Let's get that lined up there, just for reference. Okay. Next, let's go ahead and grab some structural pieces to put on the side. We want to go down to the Stroud section and grab this Cap A. We're going to use a few of these on this ship. So flip it like that, so it's kind of upside down. And that's going to attach right to the side of the docker there. Now, just behind that, we're going to start putting on our engines already. So get this SA4330 and flip it to this middle variant. You can see as I flip it a few different ways, there's these certain middle variants here. That's the one we want. And we want the one with the connector point facing outward so that we can put, kind of continue our wing shape on our ship. So back to the structural pieces, go down and get the Deimos Wing A, and connect that to the side of the engine, and now we have another connector point for the next engine. And you can see how these just slot right in, one behind the next. No problem. That's what makes these engines special. Alright, now I'm going to move those down just a little bit because I forgot I need to put something in between here, which is our landing gear. So put one of our NG-20 landing gear. You want the wide version here because that has connector points on the sides. And then we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to copy and flip some of these. Now to make this work, because of the way our connector points work, we're going to start with the engines like we did last time and then move them back down. So flip these around to the other middle variant where the connector point's on the outside. Get that Deimos wing attached. Move that down. Copy the landing gear. There we go. Now we're going to need to put on some pieces on the second kind of layer here first before we can attach more underneath. So copy the Stroud Cap A, flip it upwards, copy, change the variant to where it's backward facing. And just to show you that I'm not glitching, these SA4330s do actually slot in in a 1x1 space. No problem. Again, same thing on the other side. Copy, change the variant. And then we can get our last engine on the back of the ship there. So we've already got the outline of our structure here. There's not too many pieces to this ship. It's pretty simple. And what we're going to do, go ahead and grab these Deimos bumpers, flip them or change the variant to these backward facing version. Put those on the sides there. That kind of completes the wing. So we still need some Habs. We're going to come up from the landing bay into some Habs. So go to your Hab section here. And then I like to use the Taiyo Habs because they have kind of a rounded shape. And I'm going to get the Taiyo Top, specifically the B version, because those have connector points on the sides. The A do not. So I want the B. You can use whatever type of Hab you want. I usually use at least one control center just to get some crew spots, but again, use whatever you want. And then kind of in the middle of our ship, we're going to end up putting our reactor and our grav drive. So before we cover these up, I'm going to get these out of here, and ready to place, just so you can kind of see how they're going to connect once we have that second layer of ship parts available to connect to the underside of. Because you'll notice our grav drive doesn't have connector points on the sides, so I can't slot it in there just yet. We're going to have to put our Habs in first. So go ahead and put in a couple more Habs, specifically 3 of these 2x1s going back. Again, use whatever type of Hab you want. And now we can place our reactor and our grav drive underneath. You'll notice I have a little open space in here. That's where we're going to place our fuel, and we're actually going to put some cargo space in there just to get a little bit of cargo space on this ship. And the reason we can get 2 pieces in there is because these are thin, just one connector pieces. So the H10 Atlas tank on one side, and then let's grab just a thin cargo piece for the other side. Still get a not too bad amount of cargo, 720 from this piece. So we'll put that in there. Alright, coming along nicely. Go back to our structural tab. I want to complete the nose. So all the way down at the bottom, you'll find the Taiyo pieces. Grab this Taiyo cowling, that'll go on the front. And we're going to copy that, change the variant and flip it, and another one goes on the back. Just like that. Now copy a 2x1, place it up and back one connector space. So you will have a ladder coming up from there. And then we want to find these Nova cowlings. If you change the variant on this, you'll get that middle connector piece. So we'll put one here, copy, change the variant, put it there. Nearly there. Let's go ahead and put our cockpit on the top now. Again, that Himeji command bridge. There are lower versions of this, just with a little bit less cargo, which will be totally fine. And then if we go to our Habs, let's get a 1x1 to come off the back of that. Again, another Taiyo 1x1, this time the A version, because it's more rounded. It will not have connector points on the sides. This gives it a cleaner look. And then back to our structural pieces, get this Nova cowling, copy it, change the variant twice. So it's backward facing, and then we're just going to copy and flip those for the other side. Alright, the last that's left is just this tail coming off the back. So these are some Deimos spine pieces here. So grab the Deimos tail. I want the Deimos spine, Skeg A. Make sure it's flipped the right way. And then we still need one Deimos spine A on the top here, on the top of the Hab. Just like that. Pretty simple ship. Now, we always say we didn't slide the shield in yet or put the weapons on, but oh, and I forgot. Sorry, these 2 Deimos wings on either side towards the nose. As I mentioned earlier, use whatever weapons you like the most. You should have plenty of spots to connect weapons. The shield was a little tough to find connector points for, which is another reason this Vanguard Bulwark shield was nice, because it fit kind of right underneath that Deimos wing. So I meant it to approximate our droid companion on this ship, but I didn't have connector points quite where I needed them, so just slotted it in there. You'll see I've got only 2 of those exterminators, just because I could put the third one on that's allowed, but I like symmetry and I didn't want it to ruin the look of the ship. As far as paint goes, I obviously went with kind of a red paint to match Obi-Wan's. You can obviously do whatever you want. One trick I learned is if you come into a ship to make changes and you want to kind of match the paint color that you've used, you can select it, just change it 1 increment to the left and then go back to the right, and then it'll be available in your palette to use on other pieces. So you see I just did that there, went in, selected it, changed it 1 increment to the left, 1 increment back, so it's the same. And now when I come back in, it's available for me in my palette to just paint all those pieces the same color. So hopefully that's a trick that helps you. It's helped me just kind of match colors and save a lot of time. Now I can't decide what color I like best. It's always a problem. Let's go ahead and take a look at the interior of the ship now, just so you can get a sense of what that looks like. So let's exit out of the shipbuilder from my landing pad. Again, the landing bay is right on the front. And apparently it did not like my vehicle that much. So that's fun. Nice. If your vehicle's not in the way, go ahead and enter from the front, and you'll come right up into that first 2x1, which for me is the workshop. And then right past that, you'll notice I've got our docker and then an armory. And then into my, I forget what this is, captain's quarters. Come up 1 ladder, I've got my control center. And then up 1 more into my 1x1 that's right off the cockpit. Pretty easy layout, but gives us space to have some decent variety in our Habs. Again, use whatever Habs you want. And that's it for this build. Hope you enjoy it. It's a fun, lightweight fighter to fly. And until next time, keep building.